his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray! The sun has got his hat on and he's coming out today. Now we'll all be happy. Hip, 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 hooray! The sun has got his hat on and he's coming out today. He's been tanning niggers out in Timbuktu. Now he's coming back to do the same to you. So jump into your samba. Hip, 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 hooray! The sun has got his hat on and he's coming out today. All the little birds are singing, all the little gnats are stinging, all the little bees in twos and threes, buzzing in the sun all day. Excited, all the little girls delighted. What a lot of fun for everyone, sitting in the sun all day.
By the late 1930s, Adolf Hitler's territorial ambitions were casting a shadow over Europe. In 1938, the British Prime Minister, Neville Chamberlain, flew to Munich to try and resolve the crisis over Germany's claim to the Sudeten area of Czechoslovakia.
This morning, I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler. And here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine. We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
The Munich Agreement, under which the Czechs were forced to hand over the Sudetenland, was denounced by Winston Churchill and others opposed to the policy of appeasement. But as this popular song of 1938 illustrates, many saw Chamberlain as a returning hero and the bringer of peace for our time.
Gentlemen we love so, when they write about in history deeds we can't forget because we all know how he fought for peace and liberty. God bless you, Mr. Chamberlain, we're almighty proud of you. You look swell holding your umbrella. All the world loves a wonderful baller, so carry on, Mr. Chamberlain, you know we're all with you. And when we shout, God bless you, Mr. Chamberlain, our hats go off to you. Come, everybody!
God bless you, Mr. Chamberlain. We're almighty proud of you. You look swell, holding your umbrella. All the world loves a wonderful fella. So carry on, Mr. Chamberlain. You know we're all with you. And when we shout, God bless you, Mr. Chamberlain, our hats go off to you.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
Chickens, a large chicken run, but owing to conditions, I'm now down to one. I give her all the titbits, the dear little thing, and just to keep her up to scratch, I go to her and sing. Hey, little hen, when will you lay me an egg for my tea? Hey, little hen, when will you try to supply one for me? Get into your nest, do your little best, get it off your chest, I can do the rest. Hey, little hen, when will you lay me an egg for my tea? Hey, little hen!
When will you lay me an egg for my tea?
Hey, little hen!
Now when will you try to supply one for me? Get then I can do.
moonlight becomes you. It goes with your hair. You certainly know the right thing to wear. Moonlight becomes you. I'm thrilled at the sight, and I could get so romantic tonight. You're all dressed up to go dreaming. Now don't tell me I'm wrong. What a night to go dreaming. Mind if I tag along? If I say I love you, I want you to know it's not just because there's moonlight, although moonlight becomes you so.
Corsages were popular, and in the early part of the war, stores like Selfridges did a roaring trade in special luminous flowers. They also sold luminous buttons, walking sticks, and even luminous coats for dogs.
You're all dressed up to go dreaming. Now don't tell me I'm wrong. What a night to go dreaming. Mind if I tag along? If I say I love you, I want you to know it's not just because there's moonlight, although moonlight becomes you so.
Mother dear, I'm writing you from somewhere in France, hoping this finds you well. Sergeant says I'm doing fine, a soldier and a half. Here's the song that we all sing, it'll make you laugh. We're gonna hang out the washing on the Siegfried line. Have you any dirty washing, mother dear? We're gonna hang out the washing on the Siegfried line, 'cause the washing day is here. Whether the weather may be wet or fine, we'll just rub along without a care. We're gonna hang out the washing on the Siegfried line, if the Siegfried line's still there.
If the
There was magic abroad in the air. There were angels lining at the bricks, and a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm perfectly willing to swear that when you turned and smiled at me, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. The moon that lingered over London town, for puzzled moon, he wore a frown. How could he know we two were so in love? The whole darned world seemed upside down. The streets of town were paved with stars. It was such a romantic affair. And as we kissed and said goodnight, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. A nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. I know 'cause I was there that night in Berkeley Square.
This bride wanted a white wedding, but settled instead for a dark red velvet dress and jacket made for her by John Lewis. Pastel colors were also extremely popular. This dress and jacket are decorated with heart-shaped fur. Outfits of this sort could be worn for other events after the big day. The pink dress was a last-minute choice when the original white dress was destroyed in an air raid. Despite rationing and the other difficulties of war, some still managed a white wedding.
You've done something to my heart, some strange something to my heart. When we meet, even in the street, I fear you'll hear the beat of my heart. And every moment I'm with you holds a thrill I never knew. While you're there, there's magic in the air that's never there whenever we're apart. For you've done something something to my heart.
Improvisation was often necessary. This delicate gown was fashioned from mosquito netting and a grandmother's wedding dress. Parachute silk was a much sought-after fabric. This fragile dress was made from American parachute silk and then lovingly embroidered.
I haven't said thanks for a lovely weekend. Those 2 days in heaven you helped me to spend. And the thrill of your kiss as you stepped off the train. The smile in your eyes was like sun after rain. And to mark the occasion, we went out to dine. You remember the laughter, how we laughed, and the music, Harry Roy's band, and the wine. No champagne, but just wine. Then we waited a long time for a taxi, but we got one at last. And then breakfast the next morning, just we two alone. And I had to go, and the time was so short. We both had so much to say, and you pet my kid. The train had to be caught, and what a train. Then I cried. And now that you've gone, dear, this letter I penned, my heart travels with you until we meet again. So keep smiling, my darling, and someday we'll spend a lifetime as sweet as that lovely weekend.
As the all clear sounded, people emerged from their shelters to face another day. Their homes or workplaces might have been hit, and transport was often massively disrupted. But life carried on. The mother is wearing a wartime creation called a siren suit. With its zip front and hood, it was just the thing to slip on as one rushed out to the air raid shelter.
always say sufficient for the day is the gladness it brings. So why not put your worries all aside? Take each and every minute in your stride. Take the world exactly as you find it, strange as it may seem to be. If it's not as you would have designed it, try my philosophy. Take the world exactly as you find it, leave the might have beens alone. Live your little day and leave behind it something to call your own. You can't perfect it, so don't expect it. How foolish just to frown and sigh. So make your laughter live ever after as something to remember you by. If you meet with trouble, never mind it. Trouble isn't something new. Take the world exactly as you find it, and you'll find it was made for you.
Putting a good face on it was important for morale, and women still wore lipstick and hats. The green check Jaeger suit was purchased in the mid-1930s and then carefully unpicked and turned to keep its smart appearance. Fur, and these are fake, was considered a must for every fashionable woman, and in this case, for every child too.
How foolish just to frown and sigh. So make your laughter live ever after as something to remember by. And if you need to
The cinema was a means of escape from the horrors of the Blitz and the drudgery of war work. Many people went to the cinema several times a week, and the back row was as popular as ever for courting couples. Hollywood produced scores of memorable films. The film stars, including Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, Humphrey Bogart, Dorothy Lamour, Betty Grable, Rita Hayworth, Vivian Leigh and Clark Gable became role models for the young, and the clothes they wore influenced a generation restricted to rationing and make do and mend.
Men cluster to me like moths around the flame, and if their wings burn, I know I'm not to blame.
Played it for her, you play it for me.
Well, I don't think I can remember.
If you can stand it, I can. Play it.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. With you, I
kiss like yours could lie again. If I'm fool enough to see this through, will I be sorry if I do? Should I believe my heart or you?
They once had a shooting up in the Klondike when they got Dan McGrew. Folks were putting the blame on the lady known as Lou. That's the story that went around, but here's the real lowdown. Put the blame on Maine, boy. Put the blame on Maine. Mame did a dance called the Hitchy Coo. That's the thing that slew McGrew. Put the blame on Maine, boys. Put the blame on Maine.
The most famous film of the war was undoubtedly Gone with the Wind. The public queued even during air raids to see it. It made a star of Vivian Leigh as the spirited Scarlett O'Hara, who was perfectly partnered by the King of Hollywood, Clark Gable.
You've heard of Florence Nightingale, Grace Darling, and the rest. You've all seen Greta Garbo and our bosom friend Mae West. But there's a little lady I want you all to meet. She's working on munitions, and she lives just down the street. She can't pretend to be a great celebrity, but still, she's most important in her way. The job she has to do may not sound much to you, but all the same, I'm very proud to say she's the girl that makes the thing that drills the hole, that holds the spring, that drives the rod, that turns the knob, that works the thingamabob. She's the girl that makes the thing that holds the oil, that oils the ring, that takes the shank, that moves the crank, that works the thingamabob. It's a ticklish sort of job, making a thing for a thingamabob, especially when you don't know what it's for. But it's the girl that makes the thing that drills the hole, that holds the spring, that works the thingamabob, that makes the engines roar. And it's the girl that makes the thing that holds the oil, that oils the ring, that works the thingamabob, that's going to win the war. She's not what you would call a heroine at all. I don't suppose you'll even know her name. But though she'll never boast of her important post, she strikes a blow for Britain just the same. She's girl, makes thing, drills hole, holds spring, drives rod, turns knob, that works the thingamabob. She's girl, makes thing, holds oil, oils ring, takes shank, moves crank, that works the thingamabob. It's a ticklish sort of job, making a thing for the thingamabob, especially when you don't know what it's for. But it's the girl that makes the thing that drills the hole that holds the spring that works the thingamabob that makes the engines roar. And it's the girl that makes the thing that holds the oil that oils the ring that works the thingamabob that's going to win the war.
To know that thumbs are up in England, the sign that shows that everything's okay. The boys have brought a word back home to England, for over there they always used to say, put your thumbs up and say it's dickety-boo, 'cause dickety-boo means everything will be fine. You'll always wear a smile if you'll only say it's tickety-boo, tickety-boo, tickety-boo today. Put your thumbs up and say it's tickety-boo. We're going to show the world who's who. And this is how you end your little chorus. Thumbs up, tickety-boo, tickety-boo.
shoe slips are made from that wartime luxury, parachute silk. The man's pajamas and the woman's nightdress are also made from parachute silk. His dressing gown is made from a utility blanket.
Board of Trade has arranged with Harrods an exhibition showing the housewife how to turn old things into something quite different and good as new. For instance, the new mother may be at her wit's end how to get a cot for the little treasure. Well, if you can get hold of some old sacking, it's quite easy. Not perhaps the frilly vision you had in your mind's eye, but it doesn't cost any coupons, nor does the baby. Now, baby, good behavior, please. There's a little gadget that enables sewing machines to darn huge holes in a few minutes. Perhaps they'll soon invent something for attaching bits of new material between the darns. Well, when it comes to clothes, make-do men needn't be at all unfashionable. Listen to what you can do.
Here is Mrs. Quilty on her way to the bathroom. She's wearing a patchwork dressing gown made of odd pieces of material. The lining was formerly a dust sheet. Her pajamas are made from pieces of material found in the attic, presumably great-grandmama's bed valance. Mrs. Clark made her frock from a pair of her husband's old +4 trousers and half a yard of new material. Here is Rita on her way to school. She's wearing a frock made from odd pieces of material. Her coat was formerly her elder sister's, remodeled for Rita's use, and the hat made from pieces of material left over. There's not much use for men's dress clothes these days. Mr. Weston found his didn't fit him when he came home on leave, so Mrs. Weston made herself this costume. The long pockets were the chief difficulty. These she overcame by inserting a narrow belt. I would like to end with a warning to men. Lock up your favorite old clothes before you leave home in the morning.
This patchwork silk dress was submitted for a make-do and mend competition. The belt is embroidered with the words, "Now coupons are scarce, I use my scraps." patchwork has been used imaginatively in this purple day dress. The smart red jacket was reworked from a man's hunting coat. The skirt was a piece of 70-year-old tartan. The tartan coat went through the war as a kilt worn by a Scottish soldier. Theatrical costumes were a luxury, and improvisation was essential. These three dresses were made from spare blackout curtain material and decorated with whatever colourful braid was left in the sewing basket. They were worn by a group of keen amateur performers.
I see you smiling in the cigarette bowl, all the pictures fade too soon.
But I see all I want to know. They can't black out the moon. We don't grumble. We don't worry about a lot.
Oh, when you stumble right into my arms.
And when you kiss
The mother and child are wearing matching capes made from utility blankets. The mother wears a green skirt cut down from a dress, and the blouse is made from a Japanese silk map. The man's sweater was knitted from 50 pairs of old army socks when he was a prisoner of war in Germany. The dressing gown is made from a captured German flag found in Austria by a British soldier at the end of the war. His wife transformed it into a colourful dressing gown and wore it on holiday in 1945. The red dress began life as a German flag, which was removed by a young British soldier from a knocked-out enemy tank in Normandy shortly after D-Day.
when they sound the last all clear, how happy my darling will be when they turn up the lights and the dark lonely nights are only a nevermore we'll be apart, always together, sweetheart, for the peace bells will ring and the whole world will sing when they sound the last all clear. When they sound the last all clear, how happy my darling will be when they turn up the lights and the dark lonely nights are only a memory. Nevermore we'll be apart, always
and the whole world will see when they sound the last all clear.
breezy. Let your elbows sag, let your tootsies drag like you've had a flag, free and easy. Slave men, brave men, one foot in the grave men, grab yourself a partner now. Slow girls, show girls, never had a beau girls, here's your only chance and how. If you pleasey, while the music plays, you can dance for days to the lazy craze, free and easy.